video notes on quadratic equations and problem solving. The word, these are the word problems, the applications of what we were doing on 6.6. So 6.6 we were looking for the solutions, the x-intercepts, the zeros, and we did that by factoring the polynomials, the quadratic polynomials. Sometimes we had cubic ones, and it's the same thing except they're adding the application part. So I'm going to do this video. So for example, example 1, they're talking about La Quebrada. It's a cliff in Acapulco, Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. So that's why I try to draw this cliff. So it's very famous and people dive into the sea from the cliff, and the cliff is 144 feet high from the ground. And what do they want? So La Quebrada cliff divers, the divers platform is about 144 feet above sea level. The height h in feet of the cliff diver above the ocean after t seconds. It's giving the quadratic equation. So they give you a quadratic equation of the model when the diver throws himself, right? Dives. So that formula kind of models this trajectory because it's part of a parabola. So parabola is like this. So it's only giving you like half of the parabola. So this half, right? This half. Okay, find how long it takes the diver to reach the ocean when the height is 0. Okay, they want to know when it hits the ocean, so it would be here. Let me highlight it. So this would be when it hits the ocean right there. And if you think about it, you can think of this line, the ocean line, as the x-axis. And if you want, we can add this line. It can be the y-axis. So this is how you relate the coordinate plane to this. So if they want to know when they hit the ocean, basically all they want to know is the x-intercept or the 0 or the solution. That's what they want to know. In this case, they name it h, but h would be the y. Y equals this. And it's negative because the parabola is opening down, remember? Negative. Quadratic equation means the parabola is opening down like that. And it makes sense, right? Because they're diving down. Okay, so how do we find that? Well, all you have to make the h or the y a 0. So this would be the standard form, even though it's in the wrong side, it's still the standard form. So 0 to one side and then the quadratic equation to the other sides. So how do we find that? Well, we're going to have to find the solutions of this. First thing you need to do is see if you can factor something out from GCF. So GCF. And I think negative 16 works. Let me get the calculator. So 144 divided by 16. Yes. So the GCF would be negative 16 here. So you get negative 16 parentheses. This would be t squared plus, no, minus 9. Well, so ignore this. So that would be the end result of this thing. So remember, it's equal to 0. I'm going to keep the 0 on this side so that I don't confuse you. And then we need to factor this out. So let me bring this thing over here. Like that. So how do we factor this out? We keep the 16 outside and we're going to factor it out. And if you notice, this is a difference of squares. I don't know if you guys remember that. difference of perfect squares. So this is t squared on this side, and then we can make this look like 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. T squared is just the same. So this becomes, well, I'm gonna put it here. This becomes t plus, so the a here, let's say the a would be t and the b would be 3. So t plus 3 and t minus 3. Difference of squares equals 0. So remember, when you're solving for those parts, the numbers, you can't do nothing with them. So that means you're gonna split this into these two parts. So 0t plus 3 and 0t minus 3. So minus 3, you solve for t, so t equals minus 3 here, plus 3, so t equals positive 3 on this side. So those are the two answers, possible answers for this. Now they want to know, how long does it take to reach the ocean when the height is 0? That will reach the ocean. So let's see. So now we have those. So since the time t cannot be negative, the proposed solution is 3 seconds. So this is time, so this solution, this would be the right solution, because time cannot be negative. So this is where you have to, okay, analyze it, okay, time. So there's going to be a couple of these questions where the negative answer might not make sense. Not all the time, sometimes it does, but you need to think about it. Okay, time, he's diving, so can we have negative time? No. So that means this would be the answer. So the final answer would be, it takes diver 3 seconds to reach the ocean. To reach the ocean. So that would be the answer. This is the answer. Okay, that's example 1. Let's do example 2. So this one, this is where you have to translate. So the type of question where you translate. So they can ask you stuff like this, finding an unknown number. So we're going to find an unknown number. And then it gives you a description of the math in words, and you need to give me the algebra here. So for example, the square of a number plus 3 times. So square of a number, we don't know what number it is, so we can name it x. Square means x squared. So the square of a number, x squared, plus, well, plus is just plus, 3 times a number. So again, this is the number, 3 times, so 3 times x. Is would be equal, remember guys, and then 70. And that's just how much they equal. So they want you to find the number. So I laid it out here for you guys. So the square of the number would be x squared plus, so plus 3 times the number, 3 times the number, 3x is equal to 70. Okay, so now once you set it up, right, now it becomes a matter of solving the quadratic equation. So everything, remember the steps, everything needs to be on one side. So I'm going to bring the 70, I'm going to bring it to this side. So x squared plus 3x minus 70 equals 0. Alright. So now, all you have to do is factor out. So remember, it's in descending order. Most of this will be in descending order. 3, 2, 1, yes. And then I'll factor out. because after we factor, we need to set up the equations, and then we need to solve the equations to find the solutions, and then we need to think about if the solution makes sense. I think for this type of question, I don't think it makes a difference if it's negative or positive. Even both of them can be the answer. So let's see. Let's factor this one out. So negative 70, so two factors that equal negative 70, and add to positive 3. So we want to find those factors. So 1 times negative 70 won't work. 2 times negative 35. And then, so I think it would be 7 times, so that I don't take up too much of the time here in the video. 7 times 10, 7 times 10 will give me negative 7. And actually it's negative 7 times positive 10, because we need a positive number here. So negative 7 times positive 10 will give me that. When we add them, negative 7 plus 10 will give me the 3. And with 1. So these are the factors: negative 7, 10, negative 7, 10. So you just put the x here, and then you put the negative 7 and the positive 10. So those are the factors. So after this, remember the equations. Set up the equations: 0 and then x plus 10 equals 0. And then solve each equation. Equals 10. So these are the two possible solutions for this. So for this tab, we need to check, because we want to make sure we did it right. So this is the equation. Oh, this one, the original here. So I'm gonna check this. I want to make sure they equal 70. In these cases, you need to check plus 3 times 7 would equal 70, and then I'm gonna check this one. The negative, sorry, it was negative 10. So negative 10 squared plus 3 times negative 10 equals 70. So 7 times 7 would be 49. Plus 3 times 7 is 21. 49 plus 21 gives me 70. So x7 checks, so that would be one of the answers. Let's say this is 100 squared, in parentheses, don't forget. That would be 100 positive. They would be negative 30, right? 3 times negative 10. So this would be 70 equals 70. So this one checked, so I mean both of them are the answers. So these are the answers for this question. So this one has two possible x's, two unknown numbers that work. The 7 and the negative 10 work with this equation. So if you want to find, there are two numbers. So I'm going to put it here in words. There are two numbers, and they are negative 10 and positive 7. So that would be the answer. Okay. Let's that one work, that one work. Let's check here. Checks. Okay, example 3. There's 5 examples. So finding the dimensions of a sail. So this is the sail. The little boats. So the height of a triangular sail, so talking about this, is 2 meters less than twice that length. So talking about the height would be this part. So that's the height. And they're saying is 2 meters less, so 2 meters less, that's why I have 2 meters less. Then twice the length, so 2x. So we're talking about the height. We don't know what the length is. So we just know that the length would be this, and that we're gonna name it x, the base. It's also the base. So the length of the base. So we have our equation set up. So now it's asking us if the cell has an area of 30 square meters. So they're talking about area and triangle. So remember the area of a triangle. That's where you have to think. Okay, they're talking about the area of a triangle. For sure, you're gonna use that formula, which is 1/2 base times the height. So just remember this is a note. If you can't make that connection, well, you're gonna have trouble. So area, you know for sure you're gonna use the area formula for a triangle. So what's the area of the triangle? 30 centimeters. And they want you to find the length of its base and the height. So they want this and that. So okay, this is how you set it up. The area of a triangle, because as a formula would be 30 square meters. I'm not gonna buy the units for now. Would be formula has 1/2 times the base. The base is just the x, right? So times x times the height. The height has more things. So remember the height was all of this stuff right here. The 2 meters less than twice the length. So this is the height. 2x minus 2. Maybe here as a note, I'm gonna write that the height of this would be 2x minus 2. And the base is just x. Right, the base is just x, and the height would be 2x minus 2. So this is the formula now. You need to simplify this stuff and bring the 30 to the other side. Alright. So what does this give me? So I'm gonna distribute this and this into these two parts. So 30 equals, so I know it looks kind of weird, so I'm gonna rewrite it so that it makes sense. So that's what we have. So if you do, so it would have x times 2x over 2, right? Because that 2 stays at the bottom. And then 1 doesn't affect, so that's why you don't see it, but you have the x and the 2x. And then here you have a negative x. 1 times 2 is just 2, and then the x, and then you would have the 2 at the bottom. So I distribute this here. So now you have the 2 go away, right? They become 1, I mean. And then x times x equals x squared. And then this becomes 1, and then you have minus x. Alright. So now what do? So now we bring everything to one side. We need to make it into standard form. So minus 30 minus 30 here. So you would have 0, x squared minus x minus 30. Okay, what follows after this? You factor it out. And I know this is going to be 6, negative 6. I'm not going to do the and positive 5. So negative 6 times positive 5 gives me that negative 30. Negative 6 plus 5 gives me that negative 1 here. So those are the factors. Now set up the equations to find those x's. So 0 equals x minus 6, and 0 equals x plus 5. So plus 6, so x can be 6, minus 5, so x can equal negative 5, and those are our two possible answers. Let's see if they work. So you would have to check this, and since we're dealing with length, Since x represents the length of the base, right? We discard the solution that's negative again, because length cannot be negative. So we're going to scratch this one out. So x has to be positive 6. Right? Length cannot be negative. This is talking about length, so that cannot be it. Now we find the heights. So the height would be 2x minus 2, which in this case would be 2 times 6 minus 2. 2 times 6, 12 minus 2 would be 10. And then the base is just x, so this means base is equal to the 6. So those are the measurements of the height and the base. So that's the height and the base. This two. The dimensions, they're talking about meters, so you can put meters here. So the base is 6 meters and the height is 10 meters. 10 meters and this is 6 meters. And that's it for example 3. Let's go to example 4. So find the consecutive even integers. So there's going to be questions where they want you to find consecutive even integers, and students have trouble understanding the algebra of this. So find two consecutive even integers whose product is 34 more than their sum. Okay, this is just an example of what consecutive even integers. So even is 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. Consecutive means one right after the other. So if I say the first consecutive integer is even integer is 2, the consecutive one would be 4. Again, if I choose it to be 8, then the next one, the next even number would be 10. Alright, algebraically, this is just the example. Algebraically, you can say the first one is x. The 8 would be x in this example. How do you get from 2 to 4? You're adding 2. So that means two consecutive integers expressed in algebra would be x and x plus 2, x and x plus 2. Because if x is 2, plus 2 would be 4. If x is 8, if you add 2, it would be 10. Those are consecutive even integers. Now, so find two consecutive integers whose product is 34. Now, they give you a specific here, the product multiplication. This is multiplication, product is 34. So product of integers is 34 units. And then is just equal. And then what does it say? Whose product is 34 more than their sum. Wow. So you're going to have 34 again. More than means plus in this case. The sum of these integers. Then there's sum. So you're adding these integers again over here. So you're going to have x plus 2. Right? X plus x plus 2. X plus x plus 2. These are the consecutive even integers. So after these, all you have to do is simplify all of this stuff here. So you end up with on this side, so let's do it, 34 equals, and I think I made a mistake here. So I'm not going to use 34 even though I said it. Here I misunderstood, sorry guys. Here on this part, this is right. Product of the integers, they don't want this because this is just 34 more. This is one whole thing, and I didn't notice that. So here they want you guys to multiply the integers like this. Yeah, I was looking at it and there's no square, so I knew something was wrong. So this is what I mean, the product. So this times that product of the even consecutive integers. Now it makes sense. So x times x, so you can have x squared on this side plus 2x, and then you can combine 34 plus x plus x plus 2. So you have x squared plus 2x equals 34 plus 2x plus 2. And then you bring this one, I notice here these two will become 0 because you bring this one over here or that one over there, it would be the same. So you end up with x squared equals 34 plus 2 would be 36. Okay, so we have the equation. Now bring everything to one side. I'm going to bring it over here. So negative 36. So x squared minus 36 equals 0. So remember, 0 has to be on one side and then the expression, the polynomial on the other. So now what do? We have to factor out. And again, this is a difference of squares. Like this one, I'm going to put a note here. So x squared minus 36 can be expressed as x squared minus 6 squared. 6 squared is 36. So I'm going to write it here. X squared minus 6 squared equals 0. So that means this is a difference of squares. You're going to have x plus 6 and x minus 6 equals 0. Or you can factor it out the normal way. You will still get the same answer. Okay, once you get to this, make the equations. X plus 6 equals 0, x minus 6 equals 0, so minus 6, so x equals minus 6, plus 6, so x equals positive 6. So these are the possible solutions for this. Now we need to find the consecutive even integers. So we're actually going to have maybe more than one. Here, it doesn't matter if it's a negative. We're not dealing with length or time or any other stuff that has to be positive. This is just integers and they can be negative. Integers are negative numbers, whole negative numbers, whole positive. So let's check here. So I'm going to do x equals negative 6. I'm going to check here and find those answers. X equals positive 6. So this is, if the x is 6, negative 6, and you add 2, negative 6 plus 2, it gives me negative 4. If it's positive 6, it gives me 6, and you add 2, it gives me positive 8. So are they consecutive? You need to look at them. Are these consecutive? Yes, negative 4 and then negative 6 consecutive. And then 6 and 8, yes, they're consecutive even integers. You start with 6, you add 2, you get the following even integer. You start with negative 4 in this case, and or negative 6, and you add 2, and you get the following negative even integer, which is this. So those are the answers. So this is the answer. All of this stuff. And these are the consecutive even integers. Okay, let's do the last one, Pythagorean theorem. So, okay, before, because I don't give you this, so if you were reading this from here, this is how you would read it. Finding the dimensions of a triangle. Find the lengths of the sides of a right triangle if the lengths can be expressed as 3 consecutive even integers. So now there's 3, this is just the example. So if you start with 4 and you name that x algebraically, the next consecutive even integer after x would be x plus 2, right? And then, okay. And then the following one would be the same x, right? To get from 4 to 8 would be x plus 4 now. X plus 2 to get to this one, and x plus 4 to get to the third consecutive even integer. So this is how you express this idea in algebraic. So here this would be the x plus 2, and then this one would be the x plus 4. Alright. Now, they don't give you the perimeter because we need to find x, right? They don't give you any perimeter. They don't give you the area, and you're like, what do I use then if I don't have area and perimeter? Well, that's when you have to, this is where I have this one, that's when you have to think, okay, Pythagorean theorem, that one works well. So remember this length, like B, times like A equals a height, or a squared plus b squared equals c squared. C is always a hypotenuse, that's why I put a z. A is always should be the smaller leg, but I put it as a second medium size leg, and then b, but it doesn't matter. It still works. Okay, so that means I'm gonna name this one A, so that's B, and that's C. That's A, B, and that's C. So now we need to use this algebraic expression using the Pythagorean theorem to help us find the x's. So you would have, so x squared, right? X squared, a squared, plus, what's this? X plus 2 squared equals, now this one, x plus 4 squared. This is the a, this is the b, and this is the c. A, b, and c. A, b, and c. Now let's work it out. So this would give me just x squared, and then this part you need to do FOIL, and you would get x squared plus 2x plus 2x plus 4 equals x squared plus 4x plus 4x plus 16. Okay, yes. So this gives me combined like terms 2x squared plus 4x plus 4. Right, I combine these two also. Equals x squared plus 8x, right? These two plus 16. And then I'm gonna bring everything to one side. So I'm gonna bring this to this side. See, yes. So negative x squared, and I'm bringing this to these sides because I don't want to deal with the negatives in the first coefficient or the first term. So this would just give me x squared. This one goes away. So this x squared, and then I'll bring the negative 8x with this one. So I would get negative 4x, and then I would bring the negative 16 here. And this would give me negative 12 equals 0. Everything on this side would become 0, so you end up with this. So now we have the equation. So now we need to factor it out. So I know the factors would be x minus 6. So minus, we need a negative, and then x plus 2. So negative 6 times positive 2 would give me that negative 12, and then negative 6 plus 2 would give me that negative 4. So those are the factors. Now create the equations. Solve. So plus 6, so x equals positive 6, minus 2, x equals minus 2. Now discard which one. This is talking about length, so automatically we can't have negative length, so that's not a possible answer. So the only possible answer would be 6. Now we need to find these consecutive numbers. So I'm gonna put it here. So if x equals 6, so that means x equals 6, and then the following one would be x plus 2, so 6 plus 2 would be 8, and then the following one would be 6 plus 4 would be 10. Check if they're consecutive, so 6, 8, 3 consecutive even integers, they are consecutive. So this would be the answer of this question. That's it, guys. Thank you.